coming real fast. The guy built it out of junk. The guy who built this place lived in it until 1989. He was 1989. Nobody lives in it now or has since then.
Nobody lives there?
I already like it.
Just watch your step lady. That's the other lady.
What's your name?
Mike.
Elaine.
Oh, nice to meet you. Hi.
Okay, do you see the seashells and the stairs?
Now you ladies might notice up there on that stage flap, the man who built the place, his name was actually Art Field. They gave him 2 nicknames in town. Those nicknames he kind of liked. They were Dirt Tinker. He said he liked to tinker with his paws. He said he collects all the wood. But when you look around, kind of scare you. Art said he even collected the electrical parts and wiring.
Oh, wow.
When Art lived here, all the electricity would work. It worked until 1997. It's disconnected now, which I'm glad. Look around, there's wires, boxes, everywhere.
Wow, dude.
Now you folks, watch your step on the sidewalk and drop off about an inch. But while you were out here, I don't know if any of you were able to notice the pillars. Those are tire rims which are stacked up and concrete together. That's what Art would use to hold the place up with. He has tire rims inside all these big rock pillars. The small pillars he'd use pipe. He has 1 to 2 inch pipe which would go down the rims into the ground. So it's metal reinforced. It's stronger than it looks. Because I don't know if you ladies know, it was about 15 years ago we had a big earthquake. It was called the San Simeon quake. It was a 6.5 earthquake. I had 2 people on a tour. We were inside this place at the top level during the earthquake. We ran out of here real fast. I thought half the place would be gone. It knocked buildings down in Paso Robles. Nothing happened to it. This stuff didn't even get knocked off the shelf.
Wow.
All the damage, that's done from rain and erosion. We have real El Niños. He built on ground springs. This room floods out. So water takes its toll, but it does good in earthquakes.
Wow.
But all this wood, Art would tell people he'd get all the wood out of the ocean. He said after big storms, planks would wash up on the beaches. He'd pick them up. I've been here a while. You look at the wood. I think he might have collected some of it at night from a local construction job. But the condition, I don't know if it's all coming out of the ocean like he's saying. This is what I like about the place. I get in here by myself. Sometimes I feel like a kid standing in my grandpa's workshop. My grandpa do that in jars. I'm amazed any of his stuff's left. They put him in the rest home in '89. He passed away at the age of 96 in 1992 in Morro Bay. But it has been abandoned since '89. People come in and take stuff. But I'm surprised you don't see graffiti.
Right.
People that destroy or vandalize everything. This is kind of
Nice. Interesting.
Now watch your step, ladies. Now watch your head. I was a short man. He was my size and shorter. I don't think he'd use ladders. He'd tell us he'd go along. For once in my life, I feel taller around here. He also put metal rebar inside the arches, so they're strong. So it's stronger than wood. And you may also notice he liked abalone shells.
Yeah.
They're throughout the property. He was never known as an abalone diver. He was the town's garbage man. For over 30 years, the county paid him to pick up the trash. That was occupation trash man. In the 40s and 50s with his truck, he'd haul the shells off his trash where they processed for their meat. When he ran out of abalone shells, he started resorting to toilet seats. Which Art would use toilet seats. The picture for him.
Oh my god.
That's actually a picture of him in there.
No way.
Boy, you ladies are going to get to see him. He was on a TV show in the 70s called Real People. I have a 4-minute video show you. So if you come by when he's living here, he'd go out on the balcony. He said he'd size people up by their looks. If he liked the way you looked, he'd let you in. He let a lot of people in here. But he said the ones he didn't like the looks of, after shaking his fist at him, say, move along, small change. People said he didn't get moving, he'd throw rocks, he'd throw foot up here. But he liked to walk ladies through here. In the summer, I'll get ladies. They said, well, if that old man really likes your looks, he'd love to ask you to spend the night. If that happened, they said he called this his woman's room.
Oh, good God.
This is basically a chasm.
How cool this is.
I think he calls the woman's room as a color. Looks like the whole room was big. That's what's funny about it. He built a lot of his and her stuff but he was never known to be married or have children. The longer I'm here, the more I look around. I don't know if he could find a woman brave enough to live in the place. But Tinkerpaw, it was a pretty good nickname. He'd always make or collect things. This napkin's from the 1939 Golden Gate Exposition in San Francisco.
Whoa.
There's stories he'd worked as a cook at this, which he's paying. People have researched him. He was also known as a long-distance swimmer. There's documentation in the 20s. He swam one of the Great Lakes from the United States to Canada. And there's stuff in here from the 40s up to the 80s. It looks like people liked him. There's still greeting cards left in there.
Oh.
Wow.
But for me, the stuff I remember doing, you say pop tops. This from poker beer,
Oh yeah,
like
yeah,
60s,
yeah, the
70s.
70s.
We come in here in 99, this room was ransacked. We straightened it up. I hear people saying they had a bed in here. That disappeared by the time we come. I think the bed may have been nice. They didn't take it apart, get it out, but they left the sewing machine, a lot of this other stuff. You don't have to go in here unless you want it. This is how all the rooms used to look. This is when we have it clean. This is a laundry room. A
Wow.
couple of washing machines still in there.
Wow.
Right behind this wall is a gas-fired water heater plugged in. So when I lived here, he was hooked up to the county gas, electricity, and water. The longer I'm here, I think he built the place before there's many building inspectors around.
Oh,
One of them would come in and have a heart attack.
Oh my God. No way this place is to
Yeah,
code.
I know.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wild.
And this is how all the rooms look. This room we haven't cleaned.
Jeez.
So are you a part of like an
I bought it.
association?
I own this.
Oh,
I bought it in
okay.
1999
Oh, sorry.
from the Art Beal Foundation for
Uh-huh.
$42,000 because they
Wow.
sold the water rights off it. If I don't live here, it's $300,000 for a water meter. Before I bought it, I paid to have the county up here.
Uh-huh.
Planner said I could have a gallery, so I thought, okay, I'm going to give tours, have the Anti-Arts Castle and a gift shop.
Yeah.
I pulled permits. 2001, cleaned it all up. Started giving tours, selling shirts, cups. Code enforcement comes up and says you're doing commercial business off a residential zone lot, unoccupied dwelling, a misdemeanor every transaction.
Oh my God.
It's a landmark since '81. When he was here, you can't tear it down. But they told me one thing, I ain't getting writing, I didn't know what to do anything. But now, so ever since then, I've been fighting the county.
Oh.
So I can't sell tickets or nothing. All this is just to help out. So that's why I
Yeah,
say all
right.
that stuff
Yeah.
at the first.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I went broke. I'm gone. You can't tear it down. Now what? Homeless might try to live in here?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
check it all the time. I don't ever stay. I'm always checking and
Yeah.
trying to lock it up. But it's weird.
Yeah.
I don't understand the town because when you see him, he's a funny guy. Watch your head. Now the stairway's kind of interesting. He called this the California cooler. He claimed that stairway 650 degrees. This is a refrigerator. The 650 kept no butter and cheese sitting here. I'm glad that's no longer here. That's his stuff. He canned that off the fruit trees, I think, in the 80s.
Oh
I'm glad the
my
earthquake didn't
gosh.
knock that off. And up here's
Wow.
the applesauce, ketchup, soy sauce, garlic, and vinegar. But that's what's that cheap stuff. And I think they bought your that's the TV's right here. I'll show you videos. And you can see like little step up like this. This room back here, he called the boar's nest like a wild kid. This room originally had a flat roof. This roof was concrete. This concrete roof collapsed in the 80s. Where I lived here, the roof fell. We come in here in 99, there's no roof. This room was closed. This is just a few years ago. I was thinking real bad with this something we can. We have one picture. That used to be a dining room. They had a dining table there. The seatings were finished. Then he had two big abalone arches and a half-wall bar tied to a rock pillar. He used to have to buy a dining room. This was a living room, but it was complete with a whole big fireplace.
Wow.
The picture wasn't half bad looking. The mantel, it was decorated abalone shells. It's just scary. It's what's left of a homemade gas-fired fireplace. He ran a gas line to an oven burner. Back when they were metal, he made his chimney from paint buckets. He has 5-gallon buckets sleeving the rock and concrete for the chimney. Now this video is kind of neat. This is from 1977, a TV show called Real People. He's 81. Now, I think you may have noticed on the video, Archie has a pretty good sense of humor. And he built quite a few jokes around the property. And for this big picture frame, this might be to complement that. This is two-seated outhouse and bath. Art said he put his and her toilets in here so he could sit here and have conversations.
Ah, that's cool.
We have pictures in the 60s and 70s. You want to take a picture with them in there? And at one time he had it plumbed in. He got water in the sink. His toilets were tied in the house, which was tied in the city sewer. He did, however, build a two-seated outhouse right next to the
my
outdoor
goodness.
barbecue, maybe for convenience.
Oh my goodness.
But when you really look around, the reason he may have built the place, he'd tell people while he's building it, he'd take a coffee break every 15 minutes, which Art described as a coffee cup filled with a bush beer.
Ah.
They call beer cans building material.
Oh, look
So
at
look
that.
around, you see a lot of
Oh my
beer.
Oh my
God.
gosh, that's so
Most
cool.
of them turn out to be bush beer.
Yeah.
But I've been here a while. It's starting to look like there might be more beer cans than abalone shells. You look at the house, sometimes you think maybe it was one too many coffee breaks recently.
That's hilarious.
Now it is kind of sad. He was an orphan. He was born in Oakland in 1896. Our father was Irish, which you never knew. He also said his mother was a Catholic. Named his mother died, right? One time he did have a public tub and shower. There's still a lot of people living around here that say it didn't matter. He couldn't stand close to them all. Art said he only took a bath once a year.
Oh,
Celebration of the
goodness.
rainy season, whether he needed it or not. You know, I was thinking between that and the pickled onion and garlic, it may have been real.
He might have actually been right, yeah.
Did you get in here? Those are like animals. It reflects in his collage. Nature. We use it kind of like the ladies. But the longer I'm here, I think it's true of his bathroom humor. He has outhouse jokes. Picture frames. That's not the problem.
Wow, look at this. This is amazing.
This is what's up to his bedroom. There's pictures of carpeting the bed. Most of that's gone. You guys can see his clothes are still in here. And he was a garbage man. But he was also known as a cook. There's been stories when he was in his 80s. Cambria Pines Lodge restaurant, I guess he cooked there. I believe that story. They got cooking for him. The dirty chef's jacket, a clean one, the pants. And you know, if he lets you in, he might want to cook for you. A lot of people I talk to when he's cooking, but the great ones, just people tell me he's surprisingly clean around food and he cooked pretty good. Everyone just saying you visit him, half the time this is all he'd be wearing and nothing to be on under.
Oh, God.
I get neighbor ladies saying, well, when he got real old, that's all he would wear in town and it gets windy. I think that may have helped him in the rest home a little faster.
That's right. So cool.
So cool. He made a real simple skylight before he gets fired. But it was here, he come in here in 99.
Wow.
He's 92 years old when he went to rest home. I think he's feeding too right here, so he's got to do something. But with what's up in here in the bedroom, he's took a little sister feeling and living with the stuff that's left. And the more you look around, he's a funny bachelor. He salvaged a baby dresser for kitchen built-in drawer. I never knew stuff like this. I was going through this drawer, I found a zipper collection. I can remember when I was a kid, my grandma used to have a drawer full of strings, buttons, zippers. People in Depression, World War II, and they're not going away.
Yeah.
This went away in the 70s. It was called Blue Chip or S&H Green Stamps. It wasn't trading stamps. Now it's sad. They fired him as a garbage man in the late 50s. He struggled with money. He used to own the property next door where they built a house. He lost that lot in the 60s for property taxes. So late 50s on, he started having financial trouble. Then he went in the rest home. People would come in and do some vandalism. There'd been water damage. We fixed the roof. It hadn't leaked in here in about 15 years. It's stable. We've probably done working in here because of stove. It almost looks like it did in the video from 77, just a lot dirtier. But people say it's cleaner now than he lived here at the end. He was bedridden the last 6 or 8 months he was here. People liked him. They said, we come in and try to clean up. He'd scream and yell and call it nature's artwork.
Aww. I love that. I'm going to tell people that when they come in.
But I was a kid growing up in the 60s, like a lot of people. My grandma had a best friend. That kind of business side, but you'll notice the wallpaper in here is Burbank. When you really look around, even though plants are junk, you gravitate towards the big flowers and stuff. And at one time, you had asphalt type flooring squares in here in the kitchen, carpeting in the bedroom. Especially in the summer. I did tours with people that come up here in the 60s and 70s. It sounds like especially in the 60s and 70s. And you know, this was probably his front door. There's pictures, he had a 6 or 8 pane glass door here. And I think this is the front door to the tile work. Looks like an incident. But if you let me watch your step, I'll take you out to the garden. Now, I don't know if you can notice all the pipes or pipes and things. It's worked until 1992.
Sid Vicious.
But as you guys can see, I think that's just a good excuse to take another coffee break. It's not working. It might even attract them. They're going crazy.
Right.
Oh my
Now,
gosh.
he didn't want neighbors, and if you stand right here where I am and look up through the trees, you can see the ocean. At one time, we had an ocean view from the kitchen window. Our house, the tree was watching view. But he really couldn't waste anything. He pulled insulation out of water heaters. He said the house was water heater installation. It's a drummy cut now into the ocean. That's what's funny about this place. Now he couldn't waste anything. This looks like the only thing he wasted on the whole property. This was his original house. He built and lived in this when he first came here in 28. We have a picture of this taken in 1931. It was in one piece. It had a whole upper wooden level. The furniture's on this end. Had a living room by where the tree is. That overgrowth is over the kitchen floor, and that overgrowth is over kitchen sink. Instead of the kitchen, where fallen roof is, it's over his bedroom. It's his bed and clothes still sitting there. I talked about these old timers. Harwood always talked about a woman. He said her name was Gloria. He would tell people this lady Gloria was the love of his life. He said him and Gloria came here in 28 from San Francisco. Art said Gloria never liked the boonies. He also said Gloria took as many coffee breaks as he did and was always cheating around on him. He told the neighbor Charlotte, Gloria and her mother cleaned out his bank account one day, left, never came back. Art said that's when he lost it, started building Nitt Witt Bridge. It was like Gloria left him. Now we hear stories the tree hit this in the 60s. What's interesting, we had it cleaned up a few years ago. On the bottom floor, we found 3 women's shoes, the rutted soles of their high heels in there. And I want a lot of people through here he'd let in. 99% of those people, they remember seeing his 2-seated outhouse. He seemed to take people in the woman's room, kitchen, living room. He didn't really bring people back here and talk about this place. The neighbor Charlotte was saying all he'd ever called this was a louse house. But I think maybe Gloria turned him into Captain Whitler. If you think he brought us down, there's the rock, the wood, something. He wasted the place inside and out.
Wow.
Doing all the pipes would carry water. He'd have a little drinking fountain here and there. I wish it still worked. He ran as much electricity as water. People tell me to put together, you gotta leave up the city. But the longer I'm here, if I was out, I'd have slowed this down, but my big house back here. This has the best view.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
And
yeah.
kind of set back off the street back here, private. He went from that to being obnoxious and wanted a lot of attention. That's what happened to him out there. Now we think in the 60s, the tree was falling up in the wall there. But you can see people out in hillsides are watching this. There's all the overbuilt trees and cracks and piles, jokes, probably what's behind those walls. The few people that are left, and Rooney's the garbage man, he said he'd pick up our trash, he'd never go to the dump. 3 or 4 times a day for 30 years, this was the town's unofficial dump. He'd dump everything here. I think the county may have found out about that one day, and that's when they fired him. He was up here, his friend got married in the wedding chapel.
No way.
I hear crazy stories because back in the 60s and 70s, Highway 1 was full of hippies. This was a hippie magazine. People up here. So I'm not sure if people actually getting married in the wedding chapel or just saying they were. So the longer I'm here, more people I talk to. I think he might have been married for more building materials. It sounds like if you buy him beer, he'd do anything. Enough beer, he might let you get married up here. Now he let his wife herself will take it up here to the top. So you get to go to Hearst Castle?
Yeah.
I went there yesterday.
Oh, well, thanks for coming here after that.
You get out.
The water color fountain. This thing used to fill up with water, overflow to the sink, and run in the bathtub. Now I found that that thing worked, and its better days, that might have been a bird bath. Because you'll notice the same pipe or tubing coming off this valve. I can do the bird bath on here. I can do the fountain or waterfall on here. All this was plumbed in. When he was a garbage man, there's a street up here behind him. He used to have a driveway connection to the street. It washed out in the 70s. But in his prime, he'd drive his trash truck down here and unload. He'd make slides out of corrugated metal. He would slide everything heavy from top to bottom. But what he didn't need or use, he buried. Because back in 95, a man drilled up here. 20 feet below us, they hit layers of junk until they hit groundwater. The whole pad, even beyond the fence, it's all a 20-foot landfill. He used to own all this property. He lost that in the 60s for property taxes. Plus, sometimes he lost the other lots. But if you watch your step, a couple years ago, we had people up here from Hertz Castle. They say this one of the few remaining pieces he got his hands on from the Hertz Castle experience. And you know, I have a recording. Art said when he came here in the early days, he owned his truck. He said they hired him at the castle for a couple of years to haul stuff away to build the place. Old timers say when it's put together, he had some nice stuff. Most of it's gone. But they do say this is one of the few remaining pieces from the castle still.
That's awesome.
Well, whatever you get a hold of, you try to put to use. Those are old bathtub blades or cloth feet turned upside down. There's a plumbing part above that. There's car parts back here, refrigerator shelves, and older pictures of the place that had a lot more rockwork and junk. All that stuff just seemed to disappear over the years. Hey ladies, watch your steps coming down, trying to scoop. What we think happened to him, we think he fell down up here back in 1962. He said he was hurt and had a doctor bill of $500. He borrowed the money from a man in town and paid the doctor, but he never paid back the loan. In 1975, the man got tired of waiting for his money, leaving the property, he's going to tear it down. That's when a group of people formed a foundation. Now the people paid off his loan, but they put the property in their name, so he lost it in 75. They let him live here, but he got mad and quit working on it. The people never worked on it, it kept falling apart. So in 1991, the group was hoping the town would take care of it. They tried to give it to the town refused it. The counties never wanted it. It's been a California state landmark since 1981. The state won't let you tear it down.
It is so strange that there's nobody coming in to like do a grant to restore it. You know?
Something, anything. But I've had like people like Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead. He put me on his motorcycle show. He took a tour at night. I've had celebrities, but then he said, okay, maybe they'll connect me with somebody that'll do a fundraiser for it. It's weird. I've been here 20 years. I've been giving tours since 2001.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, today's the day. Somebody's going to come and say something. It's weird. People like it. I haven't got to people with.
Yeah.
You need somebody.
Yes.
Or even somebody
oh
like,
my gosh, you'd have to have bazillions.
Because I had a little money when I came here. It's gone now. Because I thought if I could have tried to. What my idea was, have a little gift shop. It'd be a little business and make enough money where when I die and go away, somebody just keep it going.
Yes.
That's what my idea. They won't let it. It's just weird. It's
That is very strange.
So what I think happened though, he made half the town mad at him because he'd do stuff. Like that house up there, a school teacher originally built the house. She passed away, the daughter had a daughter so a few years ago. But that lady's daughter used to tell me her mother and I didn't get along too well. You can kind of see it. There's a door beyond the trees. She said, half the time my mother would go out that door, he'd be sunbathing nude out here. The longer I'm here, I sort of look at all the houses. I think they're building them all about the same time. He might have been thinking, you guys are going to be looking down on me. You're going to have to see everything.
Oh my gosh.
And that's not the original, but there's pictures of one time he had a toilet on top of the roof and a chair mounted on the pizza roof. The old timers are saying he'd have too many coffee breaks. Sometimes he'd sit up there in nothing but his bathrobe and just yell at everybody looking at the place. But the longer I'm here, I'm starting to think that might just be the throne for his castle.
Lovely toilets.
And then watch your head on the roof, I'll take you to his patio. Now when this area was all put together, he'd call this area the crow's nest. He'd bring people out here. They said it was really nice underneath this redwood tree. At one time the redwood was in a planter, which it busted out of. This used to be his patio table. It had wooden cables full on top of tongs. His wishing well's still here. But there are pictures. This is like this was a greenhouse. This had a corrugated fiberglass roof on a window. Because next to the greenhouse is a potting shed. There's water coming to a sink. But you can see the redwood's about to finish off the potting shed as well as take over the patio. We've been somewhat fortunate. The roots are doing their damage towards the garden. None of the roots seem to be headed towards the house or coming up from the back room. Art would tell people the tree grew over ground spring.
I want to take a picture with you guys on the suspicious scarecrow.
Let me take a picture of all you guys.
Yeah.
Wherever you guys like, or in front, or
Yeah, out front, probably, right?
who's saying a fossilized bone? This is a software. This is a ball joint bone now. I don't know what kind.
Whoa, those are big. Those are like freaking dinosaur bones, dude.
I had a group of ladies up here though a while ago. This woman had a real sense of humor. She started saying, "How do you know the woman Gloria really left him and those aren't fossil?" But I think they are.
she
They're
got
dead.
some
That's where I
big-ass
thought the
leg,
story
yeah.
was gonna end. I was
Yeah,
waiting for
right?
you to say that
That was
part.
the end of a tour. Look at how supervision has like a
Now,
break.
this
Oh,
rock
my.
kind of reminds you of an animal head.
Looks like Katie.
Oh yeah, that looks like an alligator.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So this is fish is very shallow. It's not with that software. Instead of that rock. And then people tell me this one kind of reminds you of an owl or a frog with big eyes. Right below it, you'll see the concrete deer you saw on the video. I was thinking at one time Hertz Castle had a zoo. This might be his answer. The Nitt Witt rocks. Like
Oh, it's a little rock zoo with their.
paw print.
Dude, he's. This
But
is
then he
amazing.
said he wanted to die here, go back to the earth, and just be food for his friends, the turkey vultures. He didn't get to do that,
That's too bad.
but they put his ashes around the redwood, so he made it back here.
Oh,
They don't cut out his
That's
reserve.
awesome.
Awesome.
To me, that's important is Hertz Castle. William Randolph Hearst was spending all that money.
He's
Back in the days,
evil.
My grandparents, a little bit more like Art Beale.
Yeah.
They do it, but they had his own people. That's what I really like.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming.
Oh
man.
my gosh,
This is
thank
so
you.
cool.
It's magnificent. You're an excellent
I
doser.
hope, yeah, you really are. I hope someone comes and makes your dream come true.
I know. If I had money, I would.
I need to win the lottery if I can get going.
Now I'm kind of pissed on Marita's. Like, why did
But
you
then I'll
get
tell
it?
you, I've had it 20 years. I put it up for sale. The investors, they like, they only want, there's no water. There's a whole thing with water.
Yeah,
And then this guy, go to miniature golf courses, get money.